Greetings from a beer ferry. In rural Urbana, Illinois, we found a taste of beer nirvana with the family-owned Riggs Beer Company. We were able to sample the beers and were also allowed a candid interview with Matt Riggs, co-owner and brewmaster. The year-round menu features pre-prohibition style lagers, and it's a year-round selection with many having locally grown corn in the grain bill. There's an American lager, a red lager with German malt and domestic hops, and a hoppy India Pale Lager. The brewery's best seller is a true-to-style Hefeweizen. But where the brewery really shines is in the seasonal offerings, heavily influenced by the German training of the brewers. Several German styles are represented, and for the German beer fan, there is something for everyone. Standouts included the Doppelbock and the Dark Schwarzbier. This glass had a hole in it, sorry. The Dark Wiesenbach was a heavyweight at 7.2% alcohol, and the Pilsner is balanced and refreshing with a crisp finish. Those are the Riggs beers. There are also alternative beverages such as hard seltzers and soft drinks. The sprawling picnic area is family-friendly with plenty of room for everyone. Parking is free in the large lot, and the area bike trail is nearby for those wishing to pedal for their Pilsner. Brewmaster Matt Riggs shares an impressive vision on brewing beer and what Riggs offers to a discriminating beer drinker. Beer Fairy Tales was lucky enough to speak with him informally, and we explored the brewery's history, marketing strategy, sustainability goals, and future plans. Let's listen in. When did the brewery start?
We started brewing beer in May of 2016 and sold our first beers in June of 2016.
Really? Okay. So you're relatively new to the game.
Yeah, just up 5 years now.
Right.
Coming up on 5.
Tell me a little bit about your brewing background, because I think it's unique. Obviously, you've got the training in Germany, but let's go back even farther than that. What originally got you interested in brewing beer?
Beer got me interested in brewing beer. I've liked beer pretty much since I ever took my first sip. And I thought it was really cool that it's a product made primarily from water and grain. And my brother and I were both born and raised on a 5th generation grain farm, 11 miles southeast of the brewery. Memories a bit foggy. We were probably splitting a 30-pack of a domestic light lager one night out in the tool shed, and kind of stumbled across the idea of, hey, this is just grain and water, essentially. There's a little bit of yeast and hops involved. I don't even know if we knew that back then. This is just grain and water.
This is just grain and water. What made you realize, hey, it's time to go over to Germany and learn?
Seriously, one of the most important things I learned was to differentiate the brewing processes that are made difficult, or that are difficult, that should be that way, or that don't have to be that way. So, let me explain. One thing, like the brewery at Brauhaus Faust in Miltenberg, where I started in the brewing industry, really started. I had done a little bit of volunteering out at a brew pub in North County, San Diego, back when I was stationed there in the Marines. But my first professional brewing experience was at Brauhaus Faust. This brewery had not moved locations since 1654. Has been making beer in the same location since then. So, which I like to tell people is simultaneously awesome and terrible to work there, because the history is awesome. A lot of the old processes are really cool, and a lot of brewers never cleaned an open fermenter, and I spent 4 hours a day inside of an open fermenter cleaning up. But also kind of terrible because over the years they built onto the brewery back into the hillside, and there were all different levels and stairs. You notice in our production facility, everything's on one level. I can get everywhere with a pallet jack and a forklift. Definitely learned that lesson, that grain, water,
carrying bags,
chemicals, beer, all these things are heavy. and I'm not getting younger, and I wanted to be more like a small regional German brewer, making good, fresh examples of classic styles that are very balanced for the region. So it wasn't like, hey, let's just look at what everybody else is doing and let's do that. Very much the opposite. It was, okay, it's cool that there's a couple breweries here. That tells me that the market's already thinking like there is other beer other than just the mega brewers, but they're not really focused on that. So we're not going to be like stepping on their turf. We're going to do our own thing and bring something new and unique. With the second layer of uniqueness being that we were going to really try to use a lot of our own grain where we could. But that's where that German influence came from, by being in Germany and loving those styles, and then also seeing that they weren't really pre-existent in the market here.
Right. So you're basically offering something new from something that's old, the old traditional.
Yeah, beer. I mean, if you drink fresh beer over in Germany, a lot of times the imports don't travel perfectly well. You don't know how long they've been sitting around, but it's ubiquitous, right? Well-made local beer of the styles that I love.
Yeah.
You know, balanced drinkability, lager and wheat beer.
Yeah.
Fell in love with the styles, so there was never really any question in my mind. And my brother kind of shares the same palate. We like some American hoppy beers every now and then, but 9 out of 10 beers that I drink is either...
Gotta be all forward, right?
Yeah, and maybe not even high ABV. I think 90% of the beer I drink is a low ABV, so sub 6, right? Definitely sub 6% alcohol, pale lager.
Back to this sustainability thing, I wanted to touch on the solar. I was speaking with your wife. She mentioned that sunny days like today, or mostly sunny days, you're able to generate 90% of the electricity you need for the brewery. Is that correct?
Well, it's even better than that. So right now, I can tell you for sure, even though we're in the middle of a double batch brew day, we are a power plant right now. We are putting electricity on the grid. Our meter is spinning backwards very, very quickly right now because we're towards midday and it's sunny out. We are probably generating somewhere around, right now, probably around 65, 70 kilowatts, and we're using 30.
Okay. I'm getting down to the final stretch here, Matt. So the brewery is family-owned, solar-powered, sustainable, growing its own grain and corn. Are there any other unique selling points that Riggs is trying to demonstrate to the consumers?
I think maybe 2 of them pop out in my mind. One of them is the beer garden out here. You know, we've got probably 60 tables outside right now, literally looking over 20 acres of ground that grows ingredients for the brewery. There's not a lot of, I don't know of very many breweries that have a beer garden experience like that. Huge open space on the edge of town. So you don't have to like drive miles and miles to get here. We're literally on the bike path. We're in the city of Urbana, but it doesn't feel like it.
Where's the bike path?
That bridge right there. So that sidewalk comes all the way to the parking lot, and that bridge then ties into the whole bike path network of Champaign Urbana. So we get a lot of cyclists out here. I don't know how important it is to most people, but I like to also highlight that, you know, we're brewer owned. We're not just family owned or farmer owned. We're also brewer owned. My brother and I both worked in the industry. We both went to brewing schools before starting this brewery. And I think that although most people may not really see that as a big difference, it is a huge difference in the way that we do business and our final product. Having brewers make the decisions on where to invest, having brewers make the decisions on how fast to push a product out, having brewer make a decision of, hey, this product is not worthy, it does not meet the standard, we're not going to sell it, rather than having somebody who does the numbers or the marketing, or an owner that maybe just kind of has veto power on stuff. That does not exist here. This is a brewer, 100% brewer owned and operated brewery, and I'm super proud of that. It's becoming more and more rare that tradesmen run companies.
In summary, Riggs Beer Company is a must-stop for anyone interested in true-to-style German beers, an outdoor picnic area perfectly suited for those wishing to rest or play, and a business model worth recognizing. Bottom line, Riggs gets a double wave of the Beer Fairy wand, as the brewery not only has class, but also offers proof in the glass.